Hello, hello, and welcome to the Dragon's Den. It's your host, Dragon's Fury, aka Shadow, aka Show, and just like last time, you know I got too many names. We are here for episode 2. If you didn't hear 1 or the trailer, shame on you. Go back, go listen to that, see all the craziness, and then this craziness will make sense. For all of those who had reached out to me on the social medias, thank you. It was appreciated, the fact that people even knew about what I was doing. So great. But those numbers aren't adding up. So I'm coming for you. I want those listens. That's the whole point. This go round, I have Mermaid Queen with me. Say hello.
Hello.
So she will be giving her input on our ranting of the day, and we'll just jump right on into it, starting things off with the continuation of the Demigod Skyrim story. So we left that off with the giant's toes and that nonsense. So I would like to give you insight on the idea of becoming a demigod and how that really just puts a hamper on the gameplay. So anyone who has played understands that for the most part you can just do whatever you damn well please in this game. This was not one of those cases. Everything had to be done to a point, without any deviation. Had to always be working on your alchemy, had to always be working on your smithing. Not necessarily at the same time, but you were doing a lot of grinding of things that would be very, very monotonous. For smithing would be just making a crap ton of iron daggers. That being the only thing that you could make early on. Yes, you could use later materials when you reached higher levels, but at that point you're already committed to the nonsense, so you're just iron daggers, iron daggers, iron daggers, making some money, selling it to everyone, and probably leaking iron daggers after every orifice that you may or may not have on that character. That being said, the argument does come up of why would you do something like this if it's going to ruin the fun. It's the late game fun. The things that you can do that you normally wouldn't do because you are confined to the limits of what the original scope of the game was. So a lot of people may or may not get to a high level where they're able to fight enemies that are actually challenging. There's very few enemies that actually scale to your character's level. Most of them just cap. So most of which that would cap is anything that you would encounter in most of the world. You have the exceptions of dragons, centurions, the death lords, which are the higher end of the Draugr. So the Draugr does level up with you. Draugr being the zombies and your dungeons and your ruins. And your next one would be trolls, I believe. It's the next thing that levels up to a point, and then after that is whatever. But there is just a satisfaction of nonsense when you can just walk up to a bandit camp that, in most cases, you don't just walk in and just have everyone attacking you all at the same time. Not smart. You can do that. Just throw caution to the wind, destroy anything and everything that is inside or outside, depending on where you are, and then leave. And no one's to be the wiser, unless there's a chicken. Don't fuck with the chickens. If you don't know why, don't fuck with the chickens. You may be in the wrong spot, but that's okay. You'll find something that you'll understand here. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, I don't know.
You're talking dragon chickens specifically, or just chickens in general?
We're talking chickens in general. Now, with our recent encounter of the dragon chicken, you probably don't fuck with those either. I feel like that still falls under the window.
The umbrella.
Yeah.
That is, don't fuck with chickens.
Yeah, don't fuck with chickens.
Got it.
I would not like to know what wrath is brought upon you for fucking with the dragon chicken.
It definitely looks like it'll eat your soul, so.
But not whole either.
Oh no, it still pecks.
It'll still peck
it's
at
a chicken.
Yeah. Yeah, but, you know, hordes of chickens. It's no longer a pecking, it's just onslaught at that point, but who knows? Let's see here. So that little tidbit. Um, so the takeaway for that is, if you're not already content with what you've done up to the point, don't take on a task like this, especially if you are prone to second guessing or finding other paths you may choose, because it's so specific you won't really be able to navigate to something else. Of course, there was different types of demigod you could become. You could become the martial one, which is, using your weapons, or the magic one, as I did. I went magic only because there's more variety for magic for me, because what's the point of being a god with a bow? Like, that, whatever. Daggers just seem kind of silly, especially if you're not going, demigod or god level assassin, two of which, again, what's the point? Because being an assassin is no one knowing you're there. You don't really get the option of going in and just screwing up anyone and everyone. Not like I'm saying you can't do that per se. It's just, that kind of just defeats the purpose of doing things for the sake of doing it, to the extent of the extreme, like maxing out, like min maxing to the point that the integers of the game can't actually hold all the numbers on the screen. But that's just me. So, with that, we'll put a pin on that one, and we will hop over into our other topics that came up throughout the week. Sidebar, hope your week wasn't crap. When this release should be Friday morning, so, still one more day to that Monday Friday work week. Sorry, anyone who does not have a Monday Friday work week. If this is the beginning, middle, as well, then hope this episode helps you get through the hour, and you don't suffer too much for whatever you may or may not be doing. So here is the so we're going to switch gears here and talk about some stuff of the current gaming social sphere and whatnot. The head topic being the implication of battle passes galore. Again, for those who do not know, that is the system of leveling and rewards that has really taken hold as of late. I want to say in the past 3 years or so. Before, it was just kind of a thing for certain types of games that really didn't have any other content per se, mainly the battle royales. That was the thing. It's like, you go in, you fight, try to be number one left. That's that. And the battle pass added a extra incentive, if you will, to doing the rinse and repeat of a battle royale. And then it just kind of leaked into other types of games, still predominantly in the royale, but it's moving into the realm of just, if there's grinding, there's a pass. So this was your idea that was brought through, so we'll let you take the lead on this one. So what is your top thought, and we'll see where we end up on the battle passes.
Okay. I mean, it's the grind for me. Like, the battle pass is just the game now. Like, there's no point, depending on what game that you're playing, if it has a battle pass, like, that's the entire purpose of the game. That's where we've gotten to. It's like, oh, here's the new battle pass season. Like, everything has to do with the battle pass. Because, like, what's the point of playing if you're not going for all these rewards, So you got to go for the rewards, and then my biggest comment was just that there's no space in between. You're just constantly grinding for battle pass after battle pass after battle pass after battle pass.
Yeah, it's
It's exhausting.
It
I'm
is
tired. I want to do other things. I want to play other games that don't have battle passes that I can take my time with, but I don't have time to do those. Not that I don't binge play anyway and spend hours doing the same game and just ridiculously leveling myself up for no fucking reason. But I want to be able to play those too. But I can't do both. You either grind for a battle pass exhaustingly, hoping that you'll get to that ungodly level number to be able to unlock all of your rewards just for a new one to start, and oh look, here's more shit that you like, that you want to get. So the cycle just continues. It's like there's other games I really enjoy playing that I'd rather, but I don't want to give up on this cool stuff that I could get. It sucks.
Yeah, and I understand that like the concept of it is to provide, time limited, depending on the game, materials, resources, and rewards to, as you said, to like grind out for, so that most of your time is spent on the game that has it. And I'm with you. It's just gotten to the point where it's no longer fun, where that it's like, oh, I'm really excited about the things that are involved in this particular pass. I get through it and whatever, blah blah blah. I'm happy to go lucky, whatever. And then you get to the next one, which the way I play, since I prefer not to, get burnt out, is, 2 3 hours seems to be the minimum, and that's 2 to 3 hours a day. So like 2 or 3 hours every day, I have to put in some work to, and that seems to equate to about the bare minimum to get to the end of the pass, to be able to um, get everything I want. And Fortnite being the main example in that case, but it also has spread to other genres like MOBAs as well, even um, whatever Destiny is, and whatever Overwatch is considered. Um, because you have you have your pass in League of Legends as well, with their two various game modes. And yes, that I understand, like, that is, it's not much of a grind. It's like, oh, you go in, you compete, you come out winner or loser, whatever. You get points towards this, helps you get, some cosmetics, this, that, so you don't look boring as hell and look at whatever you're doing for hours on end of a time. Especially since when you, hopefully you get to a point that you're not getting railroaded in your matches, that they last a while. So, if all things are going good and you have a balanced and even fight, you're looking at in like an hour or so, unless you have where it's a limit, a time limit, that you got to score as much until it's over. Main example being Pokemon Unite. You got 10 minutes to do your damage. In that 10 minutes, whoever has most points, it's done. So having a pass in that isn't as grueling on the surface. It's still like the other ones. It's all a trap. They're all the same. Because now you're thinking, oh yeah, it's only going to take like 10 minutes to get through. You play this amount of match, whatever. But then you go to the pass, and what it changes to rewarding you for time put in, to rewarding you to things that have to be done. So in Unite, it goes from like in Fortnite, it would be like, oh, just XP, which can be gained from various things. You have your creative mode.
The death
You have
runs, which is the only reason I get to level 200 anyway.
Yeah, you have your creative modes with the death runs, but then also your other like creative modes where it's like red versus blue, color switch, racings, like
Cyber
custom things,
Octanes,
stuff like that. You have your 3 types of royale. Well, technically 6, because you have regular, first, what, solo, duo, trios, and quads, and you have the 0-bit build of quads, and then you have the competitive version, which is has different rules and settings. So, but for the most part, you have the same amount of XP scattered through in those modes, and you get pretty much XP for everything. And there with Fortnite, my problem with them is that it's the obscene amount of XP you need. I can go with a 20 kill, you know, wipe of, kills by the end of it, which, is what, 5% of the lobby?
Yeah.
Gone right there. Hand Death came to them via me, and I may or may not win it all, and I'm looking at a solid like 35 XP.
Which is not even half of the current season's battle pass levels.
Right.
Because I swear it's been 80k for a level the entire time.
So it's like, wow, this is ridiculous. And then yeah, of course you pad it with the missions, but the missions then force you to kind of not play the game. So it's like, oh hey, do this amount of damage with this weapon. Well, what if I don't like that weapon?
What if that weapon is trash?
What if that weapon curses me every time I pick it up and put it in my inventory that I'm pretty much dead wielding it? Like, there's a reason why there's variety and you have your favorite, and there's like, oh yeah, this combination, this is what really works for me, but now you're forcing me to do something else to still be in a way of being able to, get to where I want to be. And of course, yeah, you can still not do those missions, but again, that puts you at a disadvantage in the grind, because now it's like, say those missions are what they are currently, are like 16k a pop, right? So if I choose not to do that, that's 16k of XP just gone. I don't even have access to it.
If it's one of the ones that it's like the stages.
Oh yeah.
Like that was one of the kinetic ore ones, right? That you had to travel distance via kinetic ore. And it was like you couldn't just use the hammer, like you had to go find ore and you had to hit it and yeet yourself with it and travel X number of distance doing that, which is like basically impossible to do. And that was 4 stages of that. So that's 16k times 4 that you're losing out on.
Right.
Because it was so difficult to do.
And that's also like that's a prime example of a mission just completely derailing the flow of a game.
Yeah.
Because not only do I have to pick a spot to either A, land at so I can get started on this thing, or B, get to, I now have to take time out of my day to stand on a rock, smack it in a direction in hopes that I will stay, because the models aren't meant to be riding on things. So you're there for a solid maybe like 100 of a distance unit at best, or if you're like really lucky and you fly off and you hit like a hill and you like slide down, it again just
That's
completely derails.
When you hit it and it launches, that you manage to stay on it in the first place,
right? And it doesn't just
plop right the fuck
yeah
off.
You don't just it just doesn't fly off from under your feet right then and there. Like, it's so,
and you're just like, wait, where'd I go?
It's ridiculous. And then of course you still have, the creative ones where it doesn't just derail everything, but it's, it's different, gives you something to do, gives a little comedic value or whatever. It's like the snowball, like popping out of a snowball and damaging someone. That's hilarious, because the reality is that these things don't, even in the area you can make them, being obviously a snowy area, they're out of place.
Yeah.
There's no snowballs just there.
Just chilling around. Like, you had to create said snowball, jump into it, and you couldn't, like, travel that way, which I thought was hella dumb. I was like, I want to roll around in my fucking snowball. Let me.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
So you knew it was trouble. So it's like, there may or may not be a person in there, so it's like,
just
okay.
let me write trap on the side of it. Like,
but again, it doesn't derail. Like, you don't have to put too much into it. It was what 5 or 6 hits on the ground to make the snowball, and then
to
boom.
make it the right size. Yes.
and then you hop in and then hope that someone comes around. But again, you're not wasting time making a snowball. It's just you can make a snowball, go grab some stuff or whatever. Someone comes around your area depending on where it is at the ring is at the time. You just hop in, hop out, go shoot them.
That's it.
That's it.
And let's be real, some of these players are not paying enough attention to things. So, like, if you manage to set it up before somebody came along and you're just chilling in that, and, like, you can still see what's going on around you with the way that they have the camera system set up and everything. So, it's like, someone will just run right by it.
Oh, yeah.
They
no.
will not be paying attention.
Awareness
like,
is
oh,
lacking.
let me go. Oh, I see a chest. Something's glowing over there. Let me go get it. What about this? This is clearly not an in-game item. This is not part of the landscape.
Yeah, this is out of place. But that
Trust nothing.
it trusts nothing. Trust no one. Roll one. That which brings up another idea that just came as of why are your regular instincts just completely dulled in video games? Like, I feel like they should be heightened because so much more could be happening around you, especially in zero build. Like, I don't because it was worse before. Like, now it's still bad because like you have the augments and like everything, so if you're close to someone you get pinged, they know where you are immediately. But you know, early seasons where you had the build and cover, it's like, why are you out in the open? Don't be out in the open, because you don't know when someone has a sniper rifle looking you dead in the back of your head, waiting to take it off.
Yeah.
And so, and then now it feels like with zero build and all these other things, it's almost dulled people's senses of like, oh hey, I'm kind of out in the open and there's like no one around. Like, there's more things to tell you what's going on, and then there's still less awareness somehow. Like, how does that happen? And it's not just like games like the Fort Crazy. You have it happens in like Overwatch, which you have, you know, your various modes depending on what you go into. You have points to be, so it's like, okay, you know you have to be in a certain location. You know the enemy team knows you have to be in a certain location. Why are you not checking around where you're going to be? Why are you not checking corners? Why are you not checking the upper areas? You know who you're fighting for the most part because you can see who's there, and then when you switch champions, you can see who's not there anymore. So it's like, oh hey, I have like all of our mobility people we were fighting are not there anymore. Which means they've changed to something.
The lack of awareness is just proof that, you know, these kids these days didn't have their COD military gamer training.
Hilarious. No, I still think that's gone to the wayside too, because I'm one of those. Like, I was deep in, you know, early COD and causing utter bedlam at my peak.
You destroyed me when you were teaching me how to play.
Yeah. It was fun. But of course that was back, yeah, you know, that was back when I was like peak. We were competing for regional, you know, titles in the state, and we were number 2 at the time.
I just love that there was like no mercy given. You're just like, oh, you'll get it, and then you would just appear behind me. You'd figure out where I was spawning from, and then just immediately kill me as soon as I reappeared.
I would wait
until I turned around and looked at you, and then you'd kill me.
Yeah, because I wouldn't wait. Like, I'm not doing like what I would do in a normal match where I'm like crouching and sneaking past and, you know, like setting up traps and whatnot. I would just walk up to you and you just would not hear the footsteps. So I would just wait there.
I couldn't hear them.
And, you know, just be like, well, you'll figure it out one way or the other. You'll turn around because eventually your spidey senses start tingling like, I feel like someone's watching me. And then I
Yeah.
stand there and I'll shoot you. You you know,
Those were some fun days.
it was fun days. It's the same thing with Apex. But I think you took that to heart and just started spiting me because
Yeah.
you'll still be, oblivious when we play together in the shooters.
Listen, it's not intentional.
But you'll go and then just murk a lobby on your own. That's what I don't understand.
Listen, I'm fighting for my life out there when I'm by myself, okay?
But your life when you're with me too. They want us both gone.
But, they shoot you anyway.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
How many
my
times
goodness.
has someone been shooting at me and then I'm still like out in the open, like running, trying to find cover, and then they just start shooting you and you're like, why is this happening?
All of it.
Every time.
Because no matter what game it is, throwback to last episode, someone has their hand in my death. Egregiously. And I'm just like, but why? Why me? Like, why do I have to be the sacrificial pawn for either the vengeance, play to happen, or that wasn't intentional. Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, but like, why would you do a thing like that in the first place? Like, we're clearly in a position that this could have gone left every time. There was no outcome of this where it's good. It was like, oh well, this is it. Also, no, there's no silver lining in games if you are not willing to sacrifice your life for it. There's no silver lining. Like, if I go into an engagement knowing that I'm not coming out of it, fine. So, like, there we go. As long as we got what we came for, fine. Death is fine. But again, that's going in with the knowledge that I'm not coming out of this. Because you know that in order to get the objective, someone's going to die, and it's going to be the person who jumps first. And depending on, like, what it is, that's either you or your team. It is what it is. But that irks the living crap out of me, where it's like, oh, well, we got this, or they didn't get this. I was like, I don't care, because now I'm not getting more. Like, I have to wait for the death timer if it's that kind of game, or I have to wait to be bought back in, like, in Warzone's type, that my action that was synonymous with your actions, like, we went in as a team, that, and then you deciding you didn't want to commit to this anymore, or you decided you wanted to lose focus of what really was supposed to be going on during this engagement, and now I'm getting taken out because I'm 1v9ing somebody. No, I'm not happy for you. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not sacrificing myself for you. We're teammates. We're supposed to be looking out for each other. I'm not supposed to be the catalyst for you moving your ass and getting a fucking clue. But, it is what it is. So that goes into the next segment, if you will, of I hate it here. And this being the description of why games aren't fun anymore, or why games lose their fun value. So, well, what do you got for us in that respect?
Well, I actually was just thinking about this while you were finishing your previous rant. Like how in Fortnite, when I do death runs, and I do far too many, but like I typically would do private matches because I'm like, I just don't want to deal with other people. Like, I just want to go through it, do it on my own, be done. Since I'm mostly just doing it for the XP anyway. So, but lately I've been like, I kind of want to play this with other people, so I've been going into public matches, right? And there are some death runs that there are parts where it's like, it's actually helpful to have, like, other people because some of the traps, like, it's just so difficult to try and do it the way that they intend you to do it, you know? Like, specifically, there was one death run I was doing recently, and there was, like, 3 sections between, like, the save point and the save point of the next level that had the floor spikes and then, like, walls in the middle that you're supposed to be able to jump onto. But the walls are just far enough away that you can't do, like, a regular jump onto them. So you're either trying to mantle, but if you mantle, it just throws you into the middle of the next set of floor spikes. Or you're trying to, like, sprint jump onto it, and it's just this whole, it's a whole mess trying to make sure that you get the accuracy and all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, like, if you have other people who are willing to sacrifice themselves to jump onto the first set of spikes, or, like, onto the second one, really, because you can yeet yourself onto the second one pretty easy, and then somebody else sacrifices them, you know, so, like, you would need at least 2 other people to accomplish it, right? So I was doing this with some randos the other day, and I was just in a public game. We were playing the death mat, doing the death run, and we get to this point, and before the 3, there's, like, a couple of 2s. It's the same concept. So I sacrificed myself to help the other person get through, and, like, I did that for, like, multiples. Like, we made it work together, and then we get to, like, a 3 or whatever, and I help them get through the 3, and then they just kept going. They just abandoned me and just kept trying to go on to the next one without helping me. And I'm like, I just spent, like, 5 to 10 minutes helping you get through all of this out of the goodness of my heart, and trying to be like, we're all trying to get through this death run together. There's no reason, like, it's not technically a competition. It's not the same as, like, a battle royale. It's not like if you're the first person to finish the death run, you get more XP. Like, it really doesn't matter. Not to mention, there's some people who are, like, a bajillion levels ahead of you. Like, depending on how many levels the death run is. But it's just, it's like, why? I spent all this time helping you and you're just gonna leave me? And I'm like, this is why it's not fun anymore. Because what happened to, like, the camaraderie? Like, the death runs, personally, I think are very, very different from when you're actually, like, playing Battle Royale. Like, it's a totally different scenario. There's no reason to not help out fellow people if you can, you know? If it helps you get through the match faster, just do it. Like, if it helps you finish the death run sooner, just do it. It's not that hard. But no, people want to be bitches and take your help and then abandon you and not offer the same help in return. And that's why I play private games. Because y'all some hoes.
Remember, guys, y'all some hoes. Yeah, no, that would be definitely why you would hate it here. The current thing that's been I hate it here is League. League is just I hate it here always, even when I'm having a good time. That is just the reality of the state of that game, and it's more so because of the fact that it is a toxic cesspool. Like, I feel like the abandoned thought children of the Xbox 360 live chats grew up into these proverbial dumpster fires of people that play League, and they have the most severe case of raid syndrome. Sidebar being, raid syndrome is a term that I coined that came out of Destiny raiding, which is at a certain point, when you understand all of the mechanics, your brain forgets the true difficulty of said mechanics. And obviously, I'm sure it's more of a there's a more professionally scientific method of explaining this phenomenon. But again, I base this off of video game, not any of my psychology classes. So I'm sure there is a reason why our smart, dumb brains do this. But it's egregiously annoying when people are exuding symptoms of this because the difficulty hasn't changed. Your understanding has changed. So, for example, there is way back in the first raid for D2, the Leviathan. There is a section where you have to sneak around and hunt. Well, less of hunt, but you're being hunted by dogs, right? And you have to be guided by people up top to tell you where the next, place for the ground team to be so that they get a buff to the ghost thing. So they're building up a buff so that at the end of the hunt phase, you can do damage. And based off of your buff determines how much damage you do, blah blah blah. The top team has to take out the other people that drop down to where the ground team is, and will murk them or whatever. So the ground team has to worry about not getting hunted. Top team has to guide them and worry about the people who spawn in so that they kill them, blah blah blah, right? So if you don't know what the actual hell is going on, it is some of the most aggravating wipes of your life. Because if someone misses a call out of where the dogs are headed, you get caught out. Whatever, you end up dying if they can't get to the safe zone. Okay. If you miss one of the spawns because it spawned somewhere you weren't looking, it gets down in the thing, and so now it's down roaming around. Ground team runs into it, has no means of fighting it. The only thing of damage is with the top team. So there you go, boom, Gonzo again, right? And so, when you start doing it over and over, whatever, you'll have, your people who've done it, and they'll be like, all right, we'll take these positions, whatever, just follow our lead, stay in our butts, whatever. And so, but there will be a point when they forget that these things are still hard. Everyone still hasn't done it because this is not something that everyone wants to do. So there's going to be new people. They're going to mess up. It's going to happen. Don't go into something not expecting to take an L. Because if you do go into something not expecting to take an L, you're a part of the problem. Because now you're upset because of the time that's being used doing things over and over because someone keeps messing up, even though they don't know how to not mess up. They're still learning everything. And you can know the thing inside and out or whatever, but if you don't have the know-how to explain to various people or, teach in an effective way, it's just like when you were doing it. Trial and fucking error. Until you get it down and then go to a next place to fuck that up. It's going to happen. And, it's, thing with, like, League, Overwatch, what other, basically most co-op things that require your progression that's dependent on someone else's actions. It's like, oh, and you'll have people who's like, oh, it's not that hard. I was like, yes, the fuck it is. You just forgot it is. And you're a part of the problem. So that makes games not fun anymore. When the people that you don't have a choice but to rely on are griefing you, giving up on you, or just like basically sabotaging you, then that makes it, not want to be a part of it. Which is crazy how games still exist. because of course I'm not stupid. I know that like the majority of people that play various video games aren't, metric assholes, but I feel like there's enough metric
There are.
assholes to stop an influx of new people coming in.
Yeah.
Because the ones who are already playing are already committed. They're already deep. They're too far in to give up now. So they're already like, it is what it is. But they're not recommending it to other people. Like, I wouldn't tell someone to go play League. No, that's a freaking terrible idea. I'm sure that the League community is nothing but people who were already in this deep and alt accounts. That's it. They're not actual new people joining League. I don't believe that. You could have the data and everything proving it, and I still wouldn't believe you. Like, no. I just don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't, as a person, you don't recommend something for someone else to suffer. It's like, no.
Theoretically, you wouldn't be that kind of person that would recommend something to someone that they would just suffer in.
But also, well, even if it's like, oh, you're just recommending it or whatever, as the person getting the recommendation, why aren't you doing your vetting process? Why aren't you asking, oh, what is it about? Or like, what's going on? Like, and I'm sure the person you're talking to has to be within some level of your social circle that you care about their opinion of this game or whatever. There has not been rainbows and butterflies the whole time. They've been shit talking the hell out of this game. It's like, oh my god, I hate this game. Well, why do you play? Oh, it's my favorite game. It's a fact.
Yeah.
But that's why you hate it so much. Because you know so much about it, it absolutely aggravates you. If you're not been trying to murder it or wanting to uninstall it, do you really love the game? Probably not. I've wanted to uninstall Skyrim plenty of times. I've lost so much to glitches and bugs in that game. I
feel similarly about Assassin's Creed sometimes. Like, I was so close to 100%ing Black Flag, and there was just one stupid underwater cave thing that, like, I couldn't get past. Like, when I tell you I was at, like, 98% of this game. I finished the storyline, everything. I had that spot and one other spot, not including the massive, like, Armada warships, because those are basically impossible to defeat. So, like, it doesn't matter how good your ship is, like, don't even try. But there was just this one that, like, you had to go into the cave, and whenever you would do that, it would, like, remove all your armor and everything, like, or whatever, like, you're in your basic, swimming attire for whatever the pirate age, the 17th, 18th century, I don't fucking know. Anyway, so you have to get up in it, and then you have to, like, meander your way through this maze, basically with no weapons whatsoever, trying to fight, like, 4 or 5 dudes walking in different patterns and stuff. Like, I mean, they have the same patterns, but it's like you can only get so far without getting caught. And, like, once you're caught, because you have nothing to protect you, you're just screwed. So it's a whole thing. You gotta start all over. So many desynchronizations, and I was just like, I'm fucking done with this game. So I just stopped playing. I was like, I think I stopped trying to get 100% on the map, and that's when I just finished the storyline, which was hella easier since I'd already done 98% of the map. And then I was just like, okay, game's over. We're finished.
Yeah, I gotta love those kind of levels. It's great. Alright, so we've been all over the place. It's been fun doing with the talk stuff. So we're going to get to our last rant topic, which is going to be titled I Have a Problem. And what came up was mobile games. And I feel like anyone who has any kind of games on their phone has some degree of this problem, and it's downloading that same kind of game over and over just because you need
Did you
something
mean
to
every
kill
game
time.
made by Voodoo ever?
Yep, yep. They're the prime subject.
Tell me they're not all the same game.
Voodoo has a grip on us that we can't tell that is actually a death grip. Like, they finesse the crap out of us.
Because they did it smart, if we're being honest, right? Things like some of the big ones are the IO games, right?
Yes.
Whole IO, Paper IO, that kind of shit, right? So things like Ball Blast, which is the one I've been playing recently, where you have the cannonball and you gotta, shoot the little balls that have numbers and blah blah blah, and you can upgrade it and all this other shit. That and Whole IO are similar in that it's kind of like levels. Like there's X number of balls that you have to destroy with your cannon, versus like Whole IO where there's like a limited map and there's like a time frame. So you can't be mad when a game only lasts a minute and you're like, all you want to do is just keep trying to collect everything. And like, especially if it's in like a slight competition setting, like Whole IO is, or like Paper IO, where, you're trying to beat out other people. They have what? Sword IO? Isn't that one? Where you got the spinning blades or whatever? And you're going against other people?
Yeah, hold on, let me check what it's called in my thing. Because I got it. I
know you have it.
It's spinning blades. That's
spinning
what it's called.
Spinning blades. Whatever. Mine was...
But I'm pretty sure it's still... Is it still Voodoo? Yeah, it's still Voodoo.
It's Voodoo. It's Voodoo.
Those guys, man... The better question is, what isn't a Voodoo? Like, if it's one of those simplistic style where it's just one objective, may or may not have other people involved, Voodoo probably has a hand in it. Like, these guys, shout out to you for, like, getting something that is simplistically enough and entertaining enough that I don't feel like I'm wasting my time because I'm achieving something.
Yeah.
But then once you hit that point of there's nothing else, you then proceed to move on to another, which is the same.
It's also Voodoo.
Same way, it's Voodoo. Death hold on the mobile gaming community. It is ridiculous.
Not to mention, like, all the games that are like the stacking ones, where you walk along and you get longer hair, or you walk along and you get taller shoes, or whatever. Yeah. All of those kind of ones, where it's like, oh, and then you realize that you're literally just doing the exact same thing on a slightly different map, quote unquote, over and over and over again. And then you're like, oh, it always fucks me over because it always takes out like 6 pegs of whatever I'm doing. Like, it's designed to make sure that you can't get what you think you can get, because it makes sure there's no way for you to actually get like the maximum number, which pisses you off just enough to make you keep playing.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, that's the driving force. You're like, man, I could have gotten like 10 times the bonus and I only got 4 times the bonus. Now I have to get 10 times the bonus.
Yeah. And like, then they strategically put it like 2 or 3 levels later after you've upgraded.
Yeah.
Then you can easily do that 10x.
Yeah, mm-hmm. But now there's 20x.
But now you realize, it's like, of course it keeps going, but then it's like, oh, like 10x, yeah, 10x easy, awesome. And then you're like just one shy of like the next big multiplier, and you're just like,
gotta go again.
The only thing that curbs that is the ads.
Oh yeah, God.
Because if I get an ad after every damn level, I'm not playing anymore.
No. That is where 90% of those games, if I'm even playing them, I turn on airplane mode and I play that shit offline. So that I don't have to deal, which honestly is equally problematic, because it's like, now I'm going through it so quickly that my enjoyment of playing wears off faster. But equally, like, if I have the ads on, it only takes me playing like 3 levels and getting ad after ad after ad that I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not interested. It's like, oh, I want to go into like the menu and like, or like the shop or whatever, ad. Oh, I back out of it, ad. Oh, I want to upgrade something, ad. I'm like, I'm done.
I'm done.
Fuck
It's
this.
too
It is not worth
too much.
it.
It's too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Too
And speaking of the
much.
ads, like, we know we've all done this. You see an ad so many times. You're like, fine, I'll play this stupid game.
Yeah.
So you download it from the ad, and you're like, okay, this should stop playing this ad, right? No.
No.
Never works.
No,
Never works.
That's not a thing.
It should be, though.
Why would that be a thing?
Because I downloaded the game. It's on my phone. There's nothing else I can do about it at this point.
And yeah, so well, that wraps us up for this one, for this particular episode. And we, like I said, we've been all sorts of everywhere and anywhere, but that is the point. It's just a place to let off some steam for those listening. Hopefully, you get a laugh every now and again. You get something that you relate to. Got someone who, feels the same, doesn't feel the same. I don't know, maybe a new enemy. I could be your new arch nemesis now, because everything I've said up to this point has just been completely and utterly directly against your belief system. And we're, enemies now. I'm your Joker to Batman, or wherever you may see yourself in this relationship. But that's fine, because you're still listening and having some kind of engagement. And that's cool. That being said, we do have the Reddit community open. It is the Dragon's Den Show. So that's capital THE, and then capital D in Dragons, capital D in Den, and then the capital S in Show. I'm not sure how specific it needs to be when searching through Reddit, but you have the specifics. Also, the Instagram is Dragon's Fury 93, and that is to me specifically. So you can use that to submit topics that you would like to be discussed, or stories that you've had personally, and I can read those off and discuss what may come of that, whatever. As time goes on and we pick up some speed, would like to do interactive episodes with the Reddit Lounge. So certain days want to hop into the Reddit Lounge and we just talk it up. Get live ideas of what we talk about, and you'll be involved in the episode. If we really pop off, I do want to open a subscription area where you would get bonus content, because who doesn't like bonus content? So you'll get, the plan is to get video episodes as well. For I don't stream anymore, so it would be what I would have streamed, fan streams. So like any games that we may have in common, play those together. We record that hilarious nonsense that comes of that, as well as mini episodes, because I got a lot of shit to say, and frankly not enough time to put it all in an hour episode. So there would be mini-sodes for you guys of like just like kind of day-to-day things, or like whatever happened that day in that grind, whatever the case may be. These are all future plans, hoping that they come to fruition, but you can't do that without you guys. So spread the word. If you like what you hear, like the comments, subscribe wherever, whatever it is. We are based off of Spotify, but as it gets more and more known, I will make it available on other podcasting services. And that should cover all of the logistical nonsense. So I'm Dragon's Fury,
I'm the Mermaid Queen.
and we'll see you next time in the den. Bye.